Hello?
Hello, is that Pat?
It is.
Hello, Pat.
Is this
Noel,
Dolores?
how are you? Yes,
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Yes.
But anyway, I dig the new album, and I gotta say,
Thank you.
yeah, at first I was like, why are they doing this? But then when I heard it, I was like very impressed.
That's great, Pat.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like it.
and I gotta say the orchestration by was it the Irish Chamber Orchestra?
Yes.
It adds a nice dimension to the music. It's a different way of hearing the songs that fans, even a casual fan, which, because you guys had so many hits, will like, I think, because they're familiar with it. They're familiar with the music.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think it sort of, it updates it in a way where they might... they might find new things about the songs. Do you agree?
Yes. I think that they're more stripped back, and they have a new life. And so it's like kind of getting an old suit out of the wardrobe and sending it to the cleaners and getting it cleaned and then touching it up and putting new buttons into it and making it a bit shiny again.
What brought on this reimagining of the songs? How did you and how did you get involved with the orchestra to begin with?
Well, do you know the American TV show The Bachelorette?
Yes.
Well, they were coming to Ireland to shoot the finale of The Bachelorette, and they asked if we'd perform Linger. And of course, I never saw the show; I don't watch it. But I said, okay, that sounds nice. And it was in Christchurch in Dublin. We did it with the Chamber Orchestra, and it sounded really nice. And it was the 25th anniversary of the Cranberries. We'd been together 25 years at the time. That was 2 years ago. So myself and Noel thought it might be nice to do an album with all the songs, the catchy songs, the hits and whatnot, and to do them with the Chamber Orchestra, and it would be something nice for the fans.
And everything went pretty smoothly as far as connecting it all together, huh?
Yeah, it came together really quickly, actually. I was surprised there was no hitches.
And all the band members worked with the orchestra in the studio? How did the process unfold?
Well, first of all, we all met up at the University of Limerick in the ICO room, which is a really nice big room that was built especially for the orchestra. And we started playing together, but we found that we couldn't do it live off the floor because of the sound, between all the instruments and the orchestra, and then my microphone and everything bleeding down my mic, So what we did then was we got the drums and the bass and the guitars down, and then we sent that on to the orchestra, the quartet, and they put down their part, and then they sent it to me, and I would sing over it. And on a couple of occasions then, the band sent me just the bass guitar and drums, and I sang over that. And then afterwards, they put the strings over the vocals and the band,
Mm-hmm. And the thought of doing everything acoustically, that came about naturally as well?
Yes, yeah. We just thought it might be nice to do for the 25th anniversary,
Yeah, because I think, the acoustic guitar gives Linger a more classic rock flavor now than, I guess, what you would call the alternative rock of the 90s.
Yes, that's right.
Because it almost sounds like, to me, I'm a big Rolling Stones fan, it sounds like Linger sounds more like a Stones song they would be singing like in the 60s acoustically. Don't ask me why, but
yes, we actually opened up for the Stones,
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
We did in Europe. Yeah, we did about 9 or 10 gigs opening up for the Stones, and who else was on the bill was AC/DC, Brian Johnson and co.
Did you get to meet the Stones and pick their brain at all, or no?
Well, Mick Jagger came into my dressing room, I remember, and I was sitting there with one eye made up and the other eye not made up, and he just came in and he was very polite, very chivalrous kind of, and he said hello to me, and that was it. He just came in, said hello, nice to meet you, is everything okay? Are you enjoying the tour? Is there anything I can help you with? And I said no, and they were really nice actually, a very nice band to open up for. They really look after their opening acts,
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because
Yes.
I get that feel from the acoustic guitar, like just the way they kind of like laid down tracks like on Let It Bleed or something like that. That Linger transformed a little bit into that sort of,
Yes.
and like I said, not that I was skeptical when I first heard you were going to be redoing the songs. I thought, why, they're good as they are, but this really, it's rare that you could take a song that was a hit and worked so well and make it do the same again. Basically, it's it's pretty rare.
Yes, I think it turned out really nice. I think it sounds lovely. There's a lot of breathing space in there, The songs are breathing more, There's more air, there's more space, like.
And I always love the way you and a lot of bands, and this is like a little nuance, the way you'll hum a melody within the song, and I think that's a nice subtlety. You have that about your talent. There are other bands that do it too, but not enough bands do that. They don't add these little nuances, and I think that's the difference of making a song good and then turning it into great. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, little subtleties like that can make a big difference,
Yeah, like for instance, if you do that on an overdub in Zombie and other songs, and it does make the difference.
Yes.
And I got to say, I love the arrangement on Dreams, and I hope you're not insulted if I say I think I prefer it more than it was when it was a hit. I think
that, how the strings are plucking the guitar part. Is that
right? That's very cool.
Yeah. And we went into rehearsals already for a week there, and they went really well, I enjoyed singing with the quartet,
Mm-hmm. And with Zombie, I still get chills listening to that song, no matter how it's arranged. It's this mixture of melody with anger, and it's almost heartbreaking, poignant, And to you, what do you think makes that song so effective?
I think the lyrics are strong, and they're short and direct, very direct and very strong. And I think the chorus is very catchy, really.
Mm. And even though it was about a particular subject, like the IRA bombings, this is the kind of song that the sentiment is still relevant no matter what place or time you're in.
Yes.
What's it been? Has it been 25 years since that album? And I don't know if I got that correct, but I think that's correct.
You're right. Yeah.
And it's still relevant today with this
right. Lot of terrorism, still very, actually probably more terrorism now than there was. Globally, there's an awful lot of terrorism, isn't there?
There is, and how you put it in the song, that it's so senseless, and I think that it's puzzling. It's puzzling why this stuff still occurs, and mankind never seems to learn from it.
That's right. It's territorial greed and pointless stuff, really.
It really is. And I think that you could play that song, that song could become a hit again, easily.
Yeah.
In its new form.
Yeah.
Which I want to ask you, I know in the 90s, the band itself got, like every other band, was called the genre tag, alternative rock, modern rock. Did you ever like that that term?
I didn't mind it actually. I thought it sounded pretty cool, the alternative rock label, because it wasn't mainstream rock. It wasn't like all the other rock. It was a little different.
Yeah.
So then it was alternative rock. I thought it was suitable, really.
But your songs had the sensibility and the catchiness to be mainstream.
Yes.
And it. So I don't even know if they use that term anymore, but
Yes, I'm not sure what they say nowadays.
I think we're in a sort of post-rock era, if that makes sense.
That's right. And I mean, these days it's all different now because, I was just doing a few interviews there and I was saying how when I was young, like the teenagers, it was just all about your music. You go in your bedroom and play your bands that you really liked. But now it's all Facebook and Twitter and Yelp and Safari and Google and YouTube and all these things is where kids spend all their time, So
Yep.
the music world is completely different. It's not a big priority like it used to be,
That's true.
There's so many alternatives where youngsters can spend their time, pass their time. They have a lot of alternatives now. It's not just like back then. The video was very important that you made for your song because of MTV, and MTV was all about videos. But now it's totally different what they play on the music television shows.
It's reality TV.
That's right. Reality TV kind of took over, didn't it?
It even took over our presidency. Yes.
Yeah.
I just think that it's weird. There is a pushback because our magazine Goldmine. I don't know if you ever seen it, but it's always been about music collecting too, and there is a return to the tangible. The vinyl is very, of course, it's never going to sell as big as it once did, but there's a resurgence of vinyl, and
that's right. I had to get some for my daughter. She actually got a record player, and she started collecting vinyl. She's 16, so I could see that happening. It was coming back in again. It's getting fashionable.
Yeah, and it's like people want to connect or interact than just hearing this sort of ghost MP3 file. Because I got to tell you the truth, sometimes I'll find something on a new band and it's an MP3 and I'll love it, but I know nothing about the band. I don't know what the band members, what their names are, who sings or plays guitar, who produced it. I'm lucky if I even know. I get the name of the song. That's about it.
Yes, that's right. It's not as personable like here, it isn't.
No, it's not. And don't you want it like that? It's like anything else, like reading a novel. You want to be captured, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny that you said, that the kids. I don't even were the Cranberries albums released on vinyl when they first came out, or were we it was like the CD revolution, really, when.
That's right. They did release some vinyl because I see fans with them, and I don't think there was a load of them, but I think a certain amount kind of collector stuff,
I think it's worth money probably because I know a lot of bands that were released in the early 90s and had vinyl, whether it be Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and your vinyl might be worth something for the collector. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
They probably made a limited amount.
That's right. That's what they probably did.
But anyway, going back, now it's amazing to me that you guys were, for the maturity of these songs, these hits, you were only 17 and 15. One of the members was 15, right? When you started writing these songs. That's just incredible because the maturity is beyond its years. I mean, you were writing lyrics about complicated relationships. You wrote Zombie. Do you look back and say, wow, we really were ahead of our age, our maturity there? What do you think?
Yes. I suppose I was an old soul, Yeah.
Well, how do you find your songwriting now? I mean, do you find that could you write a song like Dreams or Linger now? Could you? I mean, I'll get to the new songs after you answer this, but what do you think?
I don't think so. I think, you only write a song like Dreams once in your life, and that was like the first love.
Yep.
And then Linger is like the first time you really get your heart broken. And when you're a teenager, it really hurts, like, and it's your whole life and stuff. As you get older, you have kids and things change. You're not all like so dramatic about relationships. You're a little bit more. You take things in your stride a bit more, and
A little jaded, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, maybe you just get to that point where you're like, okay, here we go again, another one. But I think
Yeah.
when you're young, like, you're a lot more affected
Yes. I
by
hear
what
you.
happens in your life. I think when you get older, you're just like, you take each day as it comes.
That's
And, once you get a good night's sleep and you get through the day, and you try to be positive and make the best out of what you have.
yeah, very true.
Because nobody really has a perfectly easy life. Everybody has ups and downs. People have relationship problems. When you have kids, you're worried about their health and their sanity, and you're worried about your children, how they'll get on in the world and how they'll find their way, and you know that they have so much ahead of them. And I suppose these kind of things take over. And then with writing, like, I don't write as much as I used to. I used to write an awful lot when I was younger, but now I find writing is something that I do occasionally. I'll just, put my mind to it and try and say, okay, I'm going to write something now and record it. But I don't have the same, like, need. I used to have a need to write, when I was a teenager. I had nothing else going on in my life, so I felt really compelled. I had to do it. But now I feel like I do it sometimes, but I don't have the same feeling about it. Things kind of fade away a little bit. Having said that, it doesn't mean that I not go through a phase of writing and feeling that I need to. But as you get older, it can become harder to write. Also because you'll be going, I wrote something like this already. I'm sure I wrote a song like this already. You've written so many songs. It's hard to write something fresh and new, and the excitement that you had when you were young, and the awe that you had, it's kind of gone. You do get older, and you become less in awe.
Interesting, but when you do write, they're still very poignant, mature songs, because Rupture and Why are definitely something that hits you. It's not fleeting. These are songs that have the same kind of impact as the Cranberries once did, in the beginning.
Great. Yeah, it's very hard for me to know. But, as you get older, you're toying with your sanity and, depression and,
Yeah.
Your parents die, you're dealing with bereavement and getting older and coming to terms with getting older. And you kind of wonder what it's all about. Like, what's life all about? You're born, you live, you get old, you die. It's kind of like,
Right.
get a bit skeptical about it all.
It's like the Godfather song. What was it? Birth, work, death.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I first heard these songs, I was very impressed that it's almost like, okay, getting older, but that still works with rock and roll. Any sort of experience in life. It's like any other piece of art. Where we used to think rock and roll was just for the young. It's really not anymore. It's
No. Right, and I mean, the amount of artists that we've lost in recent years, Prince and David Bowie and like Michael Jackson, and a lot of those artists were still young.
Yeah.
They weren't really old, They were young, and it just shows that you just never know how long you're around for. Like Chuck Berry was older. He had a long life. But the likes of Prince and Michael Jackson, they were young. I didn't expect that.
No. Or even
I wouldn't
Bowie.
Our Bowie, he was still young as well. Like, he was only in his 60s. and he looked so healthy. Like,
Yes.
he always looked very healthy and slim, and you know, he looked the picture of health. You know, I wouldn't have expected it.
No, it just goes to show you that I see some of these stars that they don't look well. They're smoking like 3 packs a day, but they'll live to be 100. And yet, someone who takes care of themselves will, for some reason, get ill. Life is so strange like that.
Yeah.
But I also want to say about your songwriting. I know you have this natural songwriting chemistry with Hogan, and it just seems so natural. Do you find that it's so different when you write a song on your own compared to having another person with you doing it?
I think like that, you know, I really notice the difference between what I write on my own and then when I collaborate with Noel. I can tell straight away, oh, that's a collaboration.
Yes.
And that's not a collaboration.
Yes.
That's one she did on her own. And it's because, you know, when I'm writing, I write the chords, and then I write the chorus and the verse, and there's a bridge.
Yeah.
But with Noel sends me chords, and he sends them without a structure. He just sends a load of chords all written, and he's just playing and playing. And then afterwards, we'll put a structure on it, and I'll put down my melody and then my lyrics and put it together. But I find that there's an obvious difference between what I write alone and what I collaborate on.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and Noel have this. It's something that is rare. A songwriting partner. It seems like everything you guys write together, it just clicks, man. It just clicks.
It works. Yeah, we have a good chemistry.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. So I think with the fans now, they're going to be craving more. I think, of course, your fans are going to enjoy something else, but I think that they're going to ask, when is a new album with fresh material more fresh material gonna come to be?
Yes. So I started I just invested in a really nice kind of keyboard and set it up. So I wrote a couple there about a month ago. I just wrote 2 together, you know. And then I stopped writing again, and I started going to the pool and going out walking and doing things like that. But then if I sit down and put my head down to it, I can write again, you know.
Mm-hmm. And do you think
just have to put on that hat?
Do you think for the fans you could say that there will be more Cranberries, new material? A new album?
I'd say there will, yeah, because I've been writing and Noel has been writing, so hopefully that'll be the next thing. We'll do another one, you know. I
think that's great, because sometimes artists, there's this there's a creative obligation to the fans and just to art itself. I understand why bands, they break up or they go their separate ways, but in the end, when you have something special, life is short, So I hope to see the Cranberries continue for sure.
I hope so, yeah.
And one last thing, the album cover idea, is that in sort of way an ode to No Need to Argue? Is it? It's I loved how it was. It just seemed like you guys were thinking that. Obviously something else is doing. You're running something on old tunes, but I thought it was kind of neat. It was like a tip of the hat.
It was a nice idea. Yes, to go back to the sofa.
Well, well, it was like, Bury the Hatchet and other, albums strayed from that kind of group look that you guys had. But it's funny how you went back to the sofa. It was a nice touch.
Why not, And you said life's short. Look, we're still here anyway. Getting older. Be wrinkled. Bit craggy face. But sure, what can we do? We're just getting older. How
is the Irish music scene? Is it I usually get disappointed with the New York music scene. I don't think it's as good anymore. How is the Irish music scene? Do you find new bands popping up or giving advice
There's a
to?
lot of bands. There's a lot of bands coming out of those TV
Yeah.
shows, like, those TV shows where bands audition and
Oh,
stuff.
are you talking about like The Voice and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
that was very popular over there, and so, but there's always a band or two in Ireland, a new band that'll get very big in Ireland, but they don't necessarily break outside of Ireland.
Right.
That'll often happen.
That's strange
But
because
I'm not savvy on it. I don't really know what's happening there music wise. Because I'm not there a lot, and then I don't really listen to top 40 radio.
were there bands like for you like that? Were you two like supportive of you guys, or did you get to connect with them at all, or no?
Yes, they were. When we came back from America the first time round, we met them, and we kind of hung out with them for a little while, and then I became friendly with some of the members. They came to my house and that kind of thing. Larry came to my house, and I went out one night with them for a sleepover to a hotel. We spent some time together, and then it just dissolved. I haven't seen them personally, I'd say, for about 10, 15 years,
Well, that would be a
But
perfect.
for a little while we were friendly there, around the time we were really successful.
All right, Dolores,
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time.
Okay, you're very welcome.